Oh my God.
Already on.
Is it now? Have we started?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, we're on. Thank you, everybody. Does anybody else want to come and sit and join us? Come on, come and have a seat. Don't sit on the periphery. Thank you very much for having us. Excuse my Scottish accent. I'll go slowly and hopefully everybody can understand me. But yeah, I join with some wonderful women. I'm Fiona Cresswell. I'm the host for today. Thank you, Vincenzo, for that. I'm co-founder of a brand called 𝗫𝗫𝗄𝗁. We deliver lifestyle coaching and lifestyle programming into health clubs. And we've got Lauren. Thank you for joining us. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Lauren Foundos. I'm the president at 𝗙𝗱𝘀 Fitness. I sold my company Forte to 𝗙𝗱𝘀 this past summer, and I'm very excited to be here today.
Congratulations. And Isabel.
Hi, I'm Isabel, co-founder of Fitness KPI and also growth manager. I used to manage clubs for 25 years, fitness clubs, and here I am. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. And Conny.
Hi, I'm Conny Hörl. I'm co-founder, or co-founders here, co-founder of 𝗫𝗻 and DSB. 𝗫𝗻, we own fitness clubs for around 20. And we also provide the fitness industry with digital solutions to run the fitness club quite smart. And I'm also a Zen teacher, Zen meditation teacher, and that's what makes it a bit interesting today.
Thank you so much. And Kyra.
Thanks, Fiona. I'm Kyra Sloane. I'm the CEO of Pilates Anytime and Yoga Anytime. We're a subscription video on demand service out of California. We launched in 2010. So we've watched a lot of changes in the online fitness game. Great to be here. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Okay, so the title of our panel today is around mindset, mind shift. And a section we launched just last year, actually. We were thankful to be in FIBO at Saudi Arabia for their first FIBO. The book that we launched just beforehand was called Beyond Reps, The Rise of Well-Being in the Fitness Industry. We actually had Amazon bestseller in 4 days. It was fantastic. So if you haven't got your copy, scan the QR code in a few moments. I was joined by 19 other authors from around the world, which was an absolute pleasure to have them on board. And the book was around shaping fitness for the future, is my chapter. How we really get more people more active more often, and how we can start to change the dial on that percentage of our populations who are actively joining and taking part in our fitness facilities. Beyond Reps did have a wake-up call. We were looking to the globe to say, we need to move beyond reps, beyond the traditional fitness theory. And why? So the reality of the fitness today, in the UK, we now have 16.8% of our population who take part in physical activity connected to our facilities. However, I still feel that's just not enough. And around the world, we have newer industries starting to grow. We have 6-7%. Up in the States, we have nearly 20-odd%. Now, that's not taking part of everybody who may move out with a facility, but I think we have an awful lot to offer within our facilities. 80% of adults worldwide still don't meet the minimum activity levels, and that's quite sad. We really have to start to think, why is that? And is there more that we could do? However, 12 billion working days are lost annually in the corporate world due to mental health. So we then start to think, how is our mental resilience and how do we connect that to physical movement? There's huge opportunities. When we look at the ex-member rates, even just in the UK, every facility has around 40% ex-members. Those are people who have come to our facilities, had an experience, and left. They've probably left multiple brands throughout their lives. Now, traditionally, we have asked the question on exit, if we've done an exit, why did you leave? Maybe the changing room was dirty, or I couldn't book a class. But actually, if we ask the right questions, we might find that it was lifestyle, it was resilience, it was mindset, and actually having that resilience to prioritize our own health and wellness. So the opportunity for net growth within our facilities are actually huge when we look at how can we empower even our 40% ex-member to come back. How do we help them engage for a longer lifetime well-being sort of structure within their lives? So when we focus on longevity for healthy, active years, the mindset starts to shift from body transformation to actually long-term health. Traditionally, we've thought if we build some beautiful health clubs, you know, we think about light, sound, the fitness equipment, floor, scent. We build beautiful facilities and they'll come, right? But how long will they stay? this is the opportunity that we have in our industry to really start to grow. Anyone recognize the movie? No, come on.
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams. Okay, my chapter, the QR code is up here for the book. If anybody doesn't have a copy of Beyond Reps, you can scan that and download that from Amazon. My chapter was around how we train the mind. So if you treat your body like a pension, we work every day, we put into our pension for later life. If we don't work on our bodies, sorry, I've just met an old colleague here as well. If we don't work on our bodies right now, what will it look and feel like in later life? So if we relate our bodies to our pension pot, really start to change the mindset at that member journey when they're joining our facilities, we've hopefully got a good start in them thinking about longevity, not just body transformation. But it is a multitude for longevity. We've got to have the right qualified people to deliver this message in our health clubs. And that does come through that sales process, that confident, empathetic, natured person who's having these initial conversations. And then in the delivery, what are we delivering? Are we just then expecting them to join our health clubs and take part in a regular workout routine, and we may lose them again? We really need to start to understand the individual, who they are, what their backgrounds are, and what are their deeper, meaningful, lifelong ambitions for health and wealth, I guess. So yeah, the good news is there is lots of opportunities. We're seeing a real rise in the role of the health coach within our health clubs. We've got health coaches in other industries, and we see huge positive shifts for corporate wellness. But in our health and fitness industry, this is something new. You know, we have our personal trainers, we have our fitness coaches. To have a health coach who asks the deep, meaningful conversation questions right at the start of that sales journey is going to be pivotal in how long we start to keep our members in our facilities. So the Health Coaches program, we do lifestyle programming. You can grow your membership base. We have a 4-week non-member program. So this is to recruit our ex-members and our people who don't wake up in the morning and feel like, I want to go to the gym. Okay, so they need that little bit of a different mindset, a different empowerment to come along to our facilities. It'll also help with your retention structure. Our 8-week lifestyle program, delivered through a health coach, takes you through sleep, stress, nutrition, energy levels, all the things that we need to actually get out of bed first. It's okay if you have the motivation to come to the gym, but if we don't, these are the things that we empower the members with right from the start and hopefully give them that opportunity to stay longer. It also opens up new revenue streams because ultimately we have got money to spend on our well-being in our lives. You know, most of us have probably had a nice fancy coffee this morning. You know, we might go out for meals or have takeaways, so that is money. But our populations are spending money on health. They're investing in vitamins and, you know, all the wonderful products that we see around the show now as well. So to invest in your own well-being, we already have a good rate for a personal trainer, but the health coach actually can command a slightly higher rate. We don't expect the health coach will see the individual for as long as you may see a personal trainer, because we want them to have the skills already to do so and then go off to see our personal trainers. So we will make more money from the individual health coach sessions and also from them signposting to the other products that you have within your facilities. It's also a wonderful pivot for employees. We have personal trainers, we have teachers. Would you imagine teaching body pump 8 hours a day? It's exhausting. And as you get into older life, later life, that's going to get harder. So to be able to give somebody the opportunity to pivot their education, become a health coach, which is still empowering them to help their their members and their class individuals, but they can then balance that with some physical, some mindset. It's a wonderful opportunity, and it might even be other people like our receptionists. They have that wonderful smiley face, that empathetic nature. They know their members. It could be that person that makes a wonderful health coach to deliver this into your facilities. But we continue to advance the offerings throughout the facilities to keep members coming. success is beyond the scales. We do a brilliant job within our facilities already of physical activity and physical movement with the product and the delivery. But what can we do better beyond the amenities to help individuals really prioritize their health? It's a layered approach, and it does require systems, support, that really puts in a process for your teams to deliver excellence to your communities. And health coaching, I believe, is now the missing link to really help you move the dial. If anybody's interested in a little bit more information, you can also scan the QR code here. Okay, I'm going to move on. We have some wonderful panelists today, and we've got some brilliant questions and answers. But first of all, I want to ask the audience a little question. So, has anybody in our audience suffered from any level of stress in the last 6 to 8 weeks? Can I have a show of hands? Anyone felt a little stressed in the last 6 to 8 weeks? Be truthful. Yeah, okay, thank you. So we're going to do 2 minutes of de-stress, if you can just engage with me. We've got the lovely Kyra, who is going to do a little breath work with us. So I'm going to switch to your seat, and you can come and take the stage for a moment.
Like you want me to stand?
Yeah, anywhere, just
stand. Okay, thank you, Fiona, so much. I know this is a big ask. It's very noisy, but take a moment, bear with me. It'll only be 2 minutes. Uncross your legs, you guys too. Uncross your legs. Place your hands on your lap. Even palms up's even better. Okay, this is the biggest ask. If you feel safe, close your eyes. Okay, big inhale. And let it be slightly audible exhale. Mouth open. One more time. And okay. Now, bring your awareness, bring your attention to somebody for whom you have unlimited affection for. Maybe it's your child. Maybe it's a pet. If you're quite an introvert, maybe it's a plant. And as you hold your attention on this being, just breathe with this being. And just notice how you feel. A few more moments. You're being a yogi scientist. Okay, now relax that project. Keep your eyes closed. And now, for the purpose of experiment, bring your awareness to your favorite, latest stress record. Like, just let the mind do what it does. Like, let it obsess. Maybe it's your flight that just got canceled, petrol prices, but just go there fully. Like, let yourself be in it. And notice what happens to your breath, to your body. Okay, drop that. Big deep breath. Exhale everything. And then just for the chaser of it, go back to the being of affection. Like, cleanse that. And just spend a few more moments there. Okay, and let it relax. So, did anyone notice a change when they went to their stress? Yeah, raise your hand. What'd you notice? Your heart changed, yeah? Did anyone notice their breath stop? Yeah? Okay, so this is the biggest lesson. Like, everything, like what you're thinking about and how you're thinking about it affects everything. And until you notice that it's poison, it's too tempting. So keep that thing of affection and you'll be okay. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do you feel good? Do you feel better? Just a little. Can I ask you all to stand for 2 minutes? Can everybody stand? The reason we stand is our body actually goes a little bit to sleep when we've been sitting, especially if you've just had that wonderful mindset movement. So we have a little bit of energy so that we can engage in our brilliant panel's questions. Thank you so much. Right, I do have the mic for anybody in the audience who wants to participate, ask any additional questions, then please feel free and we'll pass the mic. Have a little seat. Thank you so much. So, given the conversation we've had so far, I'm going to jump to Conny first, if that's okay. Why do people need to support their mindset when it comes to like the mental part of fitness?
I think let's face the world we are living in right now. So the world we're living in is really relatively volatile. So things change every day. Every day is different. So we have got everyday news that changes maybe our life. So that makes it that the world is very uncertain. There's a lot of uncertainty. So maybe we feel unsafe. The world is also complex. Yeah, everything is connected together. We can't really realize what's going on, and there's also a lot of ambiguity, which means we can't really say what is good, what is bad. So experts call that a VUCA world. Yeah, and that's how we live right now. So what do we need? I think we need to stand all these challenges. We need much more inner strength. We need more balance. We need more grounding. We need the feeling that we are safe in this world, that we have the things in our hand, that we are the captain on the board. And strength training does a lot, I guess, but I think training the mindset, so especially meditation, thanks for this nice little meditation, I really love that, is a very big tool and powerful tool to find this inner strength, and I think it's so important to get the balance today to deal with all the stress, and also the people who come into our facilities, they do have the stress, they live in this world, and we can provide them with some with all the tools, with all our knowledge. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Sorry, Vincenzo just made a very good point. If anybody needs to translate into your own home language, you can scan here, and that will automatically translate for you. Apologies, I didn't mention that at the start. Thank you. Thank you so much, Connie. And do you think that our traditional fitness facilities are equipped with the right staffing models? Are we in the right place, or do we need to start to think about our education platforms versus what we've done traditionally?
I think we have to remind ourselves that we offer already a lot for a good mindset. You know all the sentence, in a healthy body lives a healthy mind. So, and I think strength training, training the body, meeting other people down there, being in a community is a very, very important tool and fact for inner balance. But I think that's not enough. We can provide more, but we do need the people who do it. We need maybe rooms or space to do that.
Yeah.
And also we have to finance it. I think this is sometimes a question we don't think about, or what's maybe one of the difficult questions, how to finance it and how much are people really willing to pay for mental training, mental mindset. I can speak for Germany and Austria, not for the States or not for UK. But what I realize is in Germany, Austria, people are not so willing to pay so much money because they think, I can do it myself. I can read a book, whatever. I don't need to go into a gym. And it's still so that of course, our core competence is strength training or cardio training. Let's say strength training. We are seen as the experts in strength training, and I think it's important that we have this core competence, and it's also always a little bit of a challenge not to dilute this brand or this competence. So we have to build up both. Yeah, we have to strengthen this core competence, but we have to always position us as a health provider, and training the mindset is one very important part of it, I guess.
Can I plus one?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I just want to say, since you said you don't know what happens in America, so in America, corporate money finances well-being because they think it'll make people more productive and make them more money.
That is how we frame, but you may find in your sales and marketing journeys that you frame it slightly different to different audiences. That's certainly a corporate mindset, is around how do we keep our humans healthier, to stay longer, to work more, you know, but that does take some mental resilience, doesn't it? But in our communities, that might be a different message, etc. So thank you so much. Lauren,
Yep.
are there any small ways where an operator can make, you know, some quick win opportunities here?
Totally. I think the onboarding process is typically very goal-oriented. So what's your goal for coming to the gym? And you know, obviously the churn rate of gyms is very high. And so setting sort of smaller goals, I think, is important. One thing we're doing at Echelon, which we're very excited about, is we have built an AI workout builder. So it builds a program. It gives people the ability to talk to it and ask questions, or make it easier, or make changes where if they had a trainer, maybe they wouldn't feel comfortable saying they didn't like doing something and just, you know, be crushed and sore and never go back. And so I think the ability to talk to it and have it change your goals as you're feeling them, or depending on how you're feeling, is something that's going to be really groundbreaking. And we also have something now that we can put on all the machines in the club that tracks the weights, the reps, the miles on the treadmill, anything you do on any machine by just syncing with your phone. And so that's really empowering to know that, I don't know, you know, you don't know how many pounds you lift in a month probably. Let's say that number is 10,000. That number is very triggering. And if you then, you know, you're going to want to make sure you lift 10,000 pounds the next month. So I think, obviously, if you're an athlete, you're training with those goals. So finding out that number, beating that number, setting these small weekly goals, I think is going to be really important to keeping people in it versus having them join a beautiful place, to your point, and then, you know, just kind of fall back into their own habits.
And do you think that every member who joins the facility has the mindset to use that data to have that mental resilience? Or should we maybe talk about that at the member journey?
Yeah, I think in this case, we're making it so easy because you're walking around with your phone. It's just automatically syncing into it. I think it has to be very easy because I think a lot of people don't have that mindset typically to do that. So it has to be super easy to use and pretty frictionless. And in the States, I think, you know, if people don't have to interact with people and can figure a lot out on their own, which is the fortunate existence that we're in a bit, I think they're going to be able to get to some answers and get the confidence to ask. And I think you made a point earlier that 40% of the people that, you know, were former members. A lot of times I'll ask people like, "Oh, how'd you like that class?" They're like, "I loved it." I'm like, "Did you take it again?" They're like, "No, I didn't take it again. It was too hard. Like, I'm not in shape for it." I'm like, "Well, what's your plan to," you know, they don't go, instead of going back, which would be my instinct, their plan is to figure something out on their own, which that's not going to happen. And so often they love the experience. It's not that the gym isn't beautiful and great. It's just that there's a gap between something they did and how do they get there. And so I think having them find that way to get there and meeting those small goals is going to be important. It's a systematic thing to keep people longer as opposed to just the traditional joining and you know, the cycle that everyone's in.
And you're absolutely right. If the average member joins the facility, but actually they have a sleep issue, they don't sleep well at night, then they have an energy issue. If you have an energy issue, you're probably less likely to come to the gym. If we're a bit tired or we're lethargic or our day was really hectic, what we need to do when we look at how do we train the mind is look at the lifestyle. Find a space somewhere in the facility where you can feel safe to tell me your deep and meaningful reasons, the real reasons you're here beyond a physical output. And that's where we then find, actually, the energy crisis is just because we've not thought about our sleep. We're not turning our devices off. Our brain is still awake before we try to go to sleep. So these are really powerful things that we can give to our communities through the membership to give them the life skills and mindset skills to help prioritize their health. So when you have that really busy, stressful day, your child fell and bumped their knee, or, you know, some corporate VIP threw a deadline on you at the last minute of the day, you have the mental resilience to say, okay, but I still have to prioritize my health, because if I don't, I won't be able to do any of those things. So we need to reframe right at the start that this is what we will help you with. And that will have an impact on all the other areas of their lives. With that in mind, Isabel, can I ask you, how can we make emotional fitness measurable? Oh, sorry. You've got similar hair.
Yeah. The brunettes.
Yeah, maybe we cannot measure the emotional, but we can measure the behavior.
Yes.
You were relating to...
Connect.
Yeah, it's really connected. Maybe the member is not willingly to tell us if they slept bad or if they had a problem, but we can follow the patterns that if they are engaged, they will behave consistently.
Okay.
They'll come to the club, they'll in a routine, they'll keep up with the routine. But if they don't, they'll start losing those patterns, and you can measure that. And you can, when you have that information, and a system, technology helps you to spot that, then you can communicate with the client. Also, with technology, you can know which type of member is it, and how do they want you to communicate with them. Because that way, you will be very personalizing that communication and really getting emotionally connected, and that means a lot. Because in our industry, I believe that, well, it's a pattern. We've just sign the sale and forget about the client. That's really painful to admit, but it's a fact. And the follow-on, the day after they signed, it's very important. The 10 days after they've signed, it's very important that we get the communication with them, and the personal touch is very important, but also the commitment to continually follow that customer with what they need, what they want, to support them. That will make their emotional connection they need to keep up with the training.
And where do you feel, open to the panel, where do you feel that mindset could really build that retention within that first 6 to 8 weeks? If we were to build this into our traditional health club models, do you feel that the KPIs that we see against traditional, what you're tracking, could that make the impact difference from what you've seen in terms of data trends?
Of course, the first 10 days are very important, that the member comes into the club. So we need to track if they've come or not. And then within the first 90 days, they should be... Of course, there are moments of truth along the journey. So the good thing is that we can rely on a system that can help us be consistent and build a customer journey for that member from the first day, and then with the human touch, connect with the client in the club.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So I totally agree to that, what Isabel said. So as well, we are guiding our clients very well within the first 10 days, 14 days, or whatever. We don't need any stuff for that, because all the technical things can provide that in the end. We also integrated what we call a commitment center in our club app, and also an AI coach that guides people through these first days or weeks or all over the whole customer journey. And I think that's very important that we do have this technical possibilities to do that, because as I said, we have to finance it as well. So we can't employ so many people just to ask everybody, are you doing well? Is this okay? What can I do for you? That we need all this technical stuff as well.
You're right, and we could think out with the club and in the club. You know, we don't have to deliver the lifestyle coaching in the facility. It'd be wonderful if we have the space to do that. If not, we could do that online. You could be having one every evening where it fits into people's busy lifestyles, and we could also pivot to health as wealth. If you take part in all of your 8-week lifestyle programs, we know they're going to stay long, so we'll have more money at the end of the day because they've stayed a member for longer. But ultimately, we've provided the life skills, and they feel better to come and enjoy your facilities and have a wonderful experience. But that could be built in, you know, virtually and digitally as well. So just another question then on that tracking piece. At what point within that journey would you say is the biggest opportunity to manipulate the potential longevity of a member through the statistics?
I would say the first 10 days,
just
within the club.
And is there any triggers that you see in trends that would really be a big red flag?
Just from the beginning.
Engaging in the first, yeah.
If they're not taking part in a class or...
Right, taking part of a class. No, maybe they came once, but they didn't come again.
Yeah.
Maybe the gap between the days is getting longer. Maybe they tried many different classes, but they didn't stick to any of them. Those would be very important to measure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think there's something else that you touched on, which is the community angle. There's a reason why on all social media platforms, when you join it, they continually ask you to add a picture. Then they continually find your friends and have you try to add friends. And they want that behavior to happen right away because the odds of you sticking and becoming, addicted to it, for lack of a better word, is increasingly higher when you do those things. There's a whole science to all those things that they keep triggering and sending alarms to do.
Yeah.
And we can institute some of those things that work on those platforms into this, as you had touched on. So getting them into the more community-centric things, those are other ways that will keep people motivated, will hold them accountable, and will keep people sticking around. And so I think those are other things to think about as well, and take notes from other playbooks that work phenomenally well.
Just to plus one.
And I was going to say, to flip that, Kyra, actually, do you think the attention on all the data, on all our wearables, on our technologies, and all the things that ping to say move now, is it helping or is it detracting? Sorry for the controversial question.
Okay. Thanks. I'm going to take that. Are you guys okay with
Yeah.
So I definitely agree that the data can be a... It helps focus the mind in the beginning, right? Oh, that really worked. Oh, my little Oura ring was like, you had a terrible day yesterday at that conference. It's like, oh, yes, I know. So, it can help focus the mind, right? That's the first step that's the first step in meditation, right? Dharana. You focus, right? But the second step of meditation is to let your mind be wide open and aware. And what I find with a lot of my friends is they have so much data now. They have what's my HRV supposed to be? What's my sleep supposed to be? What's my VO2 supposed to be? And that can
another
also
thing
then
to
be
stress about.
Distracting and stressful. And so like any tool, it's like you want to use it to get you to a place, but at a certain point, and just to pull from Lauren's word addiction, like the addiction to the status quo is immense and powerful. And we've all here into fitness, but we all also know very quickly we cannot be into fitness, right? Like that week between Christmas and New Year's where it's like, can I have one more cookie? so that transition from being addicted to one thing to the other, and the obsession with data can definitely take you way far from the purpose of mindfulness, which is ultimately to find quiet, not more numbers that you're looking at. So there's a tricky moment of like using that tool and then letting go of it. It's kind of like, when you really understand it, you don't need any of it.
Yeah, but I think that the challenge is that people have to create new habits.
Oh, yeah.
And this takes time. This takes some kind of regular training.
Absolutely.
So, and I think the trackers, they can help to stay on board, let's say, and to make it the first step. But in the end, and I agree to you, is we have to learn again how our body ticks, how our body feels, and how we feel, and to learn to listen to all the signals of our body, and to have this open mindset again, and to feel grounded again. And that's the point where the trackers, I think, that doesn't fit so well anymore.
Yeah. And with that in mind, sorry, did you want to?
No, I think you made a very good point. When having too much data, I think it doesn't get you anywhere unless you really have an analysis, and AI is there to help us do that. At a club, as operators, we may have a lot of data, but we need to use it to help the members and in those behavioral changes to build a habit that they need to keep going, keep coming to the club. And that's where we can really support them at a scale.
Absolutely. And do you feel the role of the health coach or the fitness coach, your traditional, setup, how can they use this data alongside the clients to give that double value?
Well, with technology, they can really analyze and know which members to reach out. because they do have everything in one place. Like in Fitness KPI, we give them everything in one place so that they can know and analyze the history of the client, not just today, but what they've done, what they haven't done, or how to engage them again.
Yeah, and from the coach, the fitness coach, you know, you've got operators here. Would you feel your fitness teams would be, you know, could really use some of this valuable data that actually you've come for your PT session today, but actually you had a really shocker of a day? Do we want to talk about that before we start trying to, you know, how can the fitness teams work with this?
Well, like currently right now, like the personal trainer, whether it's your trainer, your Pilates teacher, or your yoga teacher, is really the closest person you have to your health journey.
Yeah.
Of course, they're the most underpaid in the system, but they are the person that you have your social engagement with, your connection with. They know you, and now they have access to your blood. I don't know if it's a thing here in Europe, but like everybody's getting their blood panel done all the time. Like they have access to your blood work. They have more access to you than your doctor, who you go for one visit.
Yeah.
So one, it would be great to provide them with the information. The AI can help them synthesize it. They can listen to the client, but also we need to pay them more.
Yeah.
We so underpay our trainers. They're at the bottom of the barrel. You mentioned 20 body pump classes in a day.
Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it?
They're so undervalued, they're so underpaid, they're so burnt out. They've joined the community because they're so enthusiastic and they want to help others, and they just churn. I mean, I know in clubs, losing your star teachers is such a problem.
Yeah.
So being able to support them with the data, being able to support them financially, and because it's in that relationship that change truly happens. Like love transformation only happens in love.
Yeah.
And it's in that trust and that moment. So
Yeah.
it would be amazing if we could
can-
pay them more.
You're 100%. However, if you think that you could build that conversation we just had into the sales journey, into the person that walks through your door, and that salesperson doesn't just ask, what do you want to achieve from your membership? I want to lose weight. I want to feel a bit better. But why? Tell me about your life. When will you look to fit this in? What does your average day look like? Do you have family? Do you care for elderly parents? We then start to learn about the individual human. Their mindset changes instantly. They're not here for a body transformation. They're here to learn what you can help me with. You're going to help me sleep. You're going to help me be less stressed. You're going to help me build my career better because I'm more resilient. I've built brilliant habits into my lifestyle. All these things, I had no idea my local health club could help me with. But wow, here we are. Look what our young, brilliant professionals can do. But also, do we look to recruit in the right locations? Are we still just recruiting young, fit and healthy looking guys and girls? Or actually, should we be looking to the wider population for people who we want to attract, who people look like who we want to attract into our facilities? Slightly older people who may already had some natural experience of menopause, of andropause. Gosh, up until recently, I didn't even know that that was a thing. It's not just a midlife crisis, guys. It's actually hormonal change. It happens to you too. And we all have husbands and brothers and children and uncles. And we have mums and aunties and grandmas. And we're all going through huge changes in our lives all the time. Very prevalent point is our trainers aren't often paid to do that job. That's a big job. So we must look at our education. We must make sure that they are confident and skilled to have these vital conversations. And let's really build this into our communities, because that is powerful. That's where we will see a true shift in actually growing our industry and people who engage with it. Do you want to add anything into those points?
Actually, I always make a big difference between let's call it a regular trainer or normal trainer that is employed in the studio, and the personal trainer. And so our personal trainers, they are all entrepreneurs themselves, because we can't pay this expertise. Yeah? And this is quite a good possibility to provide both, to have the let's say, normal trainer who does introductions into the machines or so on, and to have on the other side all the very well skilled experts and people are willing to pay these experts, but they are not so willing to pay the fitness studio for that. So that's why we work like this, because we separate, or we make a really good decision between these two kind of trainers. So.
Okay, so I think we've covered quite a lot there. I think we've got huge opportunities within that mindset piece to really start to consider how we pivot. What we've seen a lot of so far in the industry is people talking about wellness and well-being and bringing this into our facilities. But actually what I've seen so far is a lot of recovery products coming into our facilities, but without an education on what will that do for me? When and why should I use this? We can put as many products into a facility as you want, but unless we educate our individuals on why it might be suitable for them, what it might do for them, where's the point? We've just added an extra expensive amenity when we could have invested in a human who could actually deliver huge amount to your members, bring more members on board, and keep them for longer. So it's a really valuable point on where you spend your money. You may still put in your ice baths and your red light therapy once you've got another 100 members. So let's think about that reframe on when you're building a facility or looking at a refurbishment project, is it all product we must invest in, or should we invest in our people that deliver actually the well-being into our facilities? Does anyone in the audience have any questions for myself or our lovely panel? Be brave. Any questions? I know you have one. Vincenzo, do you have a question? Yeah, are you coming up?
Thank you. For me, it was a real pleasure because I was trying so many years to try to find an occasion like this for women talking about not women-related topics. And today we have proof that they can go even without a moderator, because what is great, and then you can talk each other, and you can go on, I think, everywhere. This is recorded and it is live streaming on YouTube. Just a question I had for a longevity athlete. I was a triathlete. Now I want to be another kind of athlete. So a longevity. So it means that I want to be faster. I want to be longer in my life, but not like my mother-in-law that she is 95. She can get the ball of the dog without bending her knees, and it's something that I'm able to do anymore, but she's completely out of her mind. So from your perspective, your experience, what we could do in longevity to first address our mental and mostly emotional health?
Yeah, I think just very quickly, physical health, is this not working?
I'm just going to answer you quickly. Are you passing the mic to you first? Just stay curious, stay open. As soon as your ideas get calcified, so will your body. So make sure you have a new thought every day that you haven't already had, and let yourself be surprised and ask, I wonder what will happen, as opposed to, I know what should happen.
Nice. Thank you. I think physical comes into this at a younger age profile. I touched on it earlier around that pension analysis. And anybody in this room or this entire estate can and should stay moving in some way. But there are particular mind-brain training products out there where you can build mindfulness in. We have Zen, we have yoga and Pilates and lots of things that bring the mindfulness in. But as you say, that new thought, that keeping the brain healthy and trying to not have a sedentary life, because that will just become a sedentary brain, and we don't want that either. But it's a very difficult, complex question. Do you ladies have anything to add to that?
No. I think it's very important to have this mindset. It's never too late to start.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep. And if you don't do it, you lose it, right? So I think just people are now playing pickleball and sports, and it's great. They're being more active like a kid again. So I think just continuing to do those things as opposed to just starting to, be like, at this stage of my life, I'm not going to be doing this, because when you see people doing things at incredible ages, it's all possible, if you do it every day. So I think just keep doing what you're doing and not, trying to age yourself, and you'll be able to do it.
Yeah, and I think within the sales and the marketing of what we put out there, how do we market different people? If we continually market really, muscly males and females in our marketing, that's the only groups that we're going to attract to our facilities. We need to think about a whole multitude of different marketing and mindset marketing as well to really bring more people coming to our facilities. Yeah. Any other questions from the audience? Happy? Thank you so much. You've been a wonderful audience. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fiona.